everybody. That was a weird hey. That was very high pitched.
Yeah.
Welcome to another
You're excited.
episode of Brown Queens. What's up, Jyoti?
Nothing. I'm just here drinking my coffee.
I know she's so cute with her little coffee looking perfect,
Aw.
like a little princess. We're so excited.
She looks great.
Later on in the show, we are going to have Sujata Day on, who we're a huge fan of. She
Yeah.
was on Insecure. She's written for Issa Rae.
Movie coming out.
She has a new movie on Netflix coming out January 21st.
Yes, she is our Brown Queen of the Week, you guys. So please stay tuned and listen and
Yeah.
get inspired by her.
She's so inspiring. You're going to want to listen to this interview. What else is going on? How was your first week in January?
So the first week in January before we recorded, it was just, I feel like a throwaway.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I saw somebody say that the first week doesn't count. Like now we're really getting into the hang of the year.
First month shouldn't even count. I think
Yeah,
February
we're
should
just warming up.
We're warming up. I still haven't finished my vision board, but it's fine.
It's getting there.
It's getting there. I've just been working my ass off because that's one of like the things that was on my like goals this year is working. So I literally, and like I like to be out and about. I've said no to every invitation this week.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, everything. I was like, no. And then I was like, okay, Sunday, my friend's in town. I'm going out Sunday, just Sunday. So I literally just been working, coming home, sleeping. Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, literally, that's what I've been doing. But it's nice, but it's also like pathetic sometimes.
It is not. I don't know why you think every time she says that she's like working and not out there like gallivanting around the world, she thinks it's like pathetic or something. I'm like, Jyoti, working is a pretty normal, great thing. She's like, I just want to be free and like
hasn't life anymore. But no, it's funny though, because like at work, I go really homeless because one, like it's a working class community. It's kind of the hood. So I don't want to get hit on because I am very mean when I get hit on.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
annoying.
Like, but like, and then they also treat me like they think that I'm a worker there. It's really funny. Like they'll just be like, oh, like, do you want me to buy you something? And in my head, I'm like, bitch, this is my store. You know?
My God, that's hilarious.
But it's really funny. But yeah, I've just been working. How about you? How are you doing now?
I'm good. I had a therapy appointment this week. It was so funny. My therapist it was a lot because I started my period and I was really sad about my dog that day. And I was just feeling a lot of pressure that morning. And my therapist literally like comes on and she's like, how are you? And I'm like, I just like started bawling. Like I was crying. I was like, everything sucks.
I hate everything.
And like my dog died and like, we just started, but it was a great therapy, like a great session. And that's why it made me realize again, like, wow, I don't know how people get through life without therapy because I needed that.
Did your insurance cover her?
No, I pay out of pocket, but I will forward her to you.
Yeah, because that's another goal. I want to regularly see a therapist.
It helped so much. Like I was telling her about like how like I'm still on the job hunt for full-time jobs and I've been interviewing and like I'm just like I'm single still and all this stuff. And she's like, well, that's interesting. Why do you think that those things like determine your worth? And I was like, I know. She was like really hitting me with the hard stuff. I was like, I don't know. I'm just like, she's like, can you describe yourself to me? And then I like described myself and she's like, none of those words have anything to do with like your job or you having a guy. Like, like she's like the people we are in and out of the world is like, that's what's important. Like, I don't know why society has like made you believe that like the job you have or the guy you have is like the only worth you have.
That is so true. It's like without realizing it, because we obviously talk about we're worthy, we're great.
Yeah.
Without realizing it, we do feel like that does determine our worth.
Yeah. She's like, you can still be like an ambitious, driven, smart person. Like, even when you don't have a job, she's like, you're still those things. Like, that's still who you are. Like the people we are don't change because of like, it was a really good session. Yeah. And then she was also like, don't let like working towards something feel like it's forever. Like this is a chapter in your life. You're not like, you're working towards something. Like, so it's okay. Like
to be, yeah.
That's
so true. I get like that sometimes too. I understand what you're going through.
It's hard to be in those middle phases.
It really is. It's like, even with like my store right now, like I'll do the math at the end of the day and it'll make me really sad because I'm just evening out and I'm like, And then I have to remember some people don't even out,
and you're working towards something.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I totally feel you. But I really love that she said that. That's true.
She was dropping all the gems on me. I needed that session.
Girl, happy 2022.
I was like, okay, thank you, wiping the tears from my face. And then she was like, you'll really resonate with this too, because you've gone through a lot too.
Yeah.
But like at the end, she was like, listen, I don't want you to like forget like everything you've been through in life. She's like, you did not just like come out of tragic situations, you thrived amongst like your tragedies. Like you didn't just survive life, like you've been thriving, like the things that you've done after like all of the things you've been through. And she's like, so don't ever forget like how like relentless and like powerful you are in like the life you've created amongst like so much pain and like, you know, trauma and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, thank you, therapist.
Yeah, because usually I'm like, what? Like sometimes I like do not a pity party, but I'll just be like, why me?
No, but okay, I will say the same thing to you. Like, you're not just surviving, as Maya Angelou says, you're thriving.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like we didn't just survive the terrible things that happened to us. We're like learning to live our best lives, like amongst it, and still doing amazing shit.
Amen, sister.
Amen. See, look at us starting our January podcasts are coming through.
You see the evolution, like every single one. We're like, yes, girl. Yes, you're right. You guys listening too, if you're going through something, you know, or you've gone through something, you are thriving.
Yes.
I love that.
But we still need to go on some dates. So we're going to go. We were just talking about, we're like we literally say this every single week, and we're going to give some yeses out this week. So shoot your shot.
Yes. Literally, like I was telling Neha, me and my friend, like she lives in Riverside and I live here, and we were on Hinge at the same time, which is a dating app. And it was just more comedy than anything.
Oh my God.
Instead of finding somebody, we were just laughing the whole time, and then at the end we're like, man, we're doomed. Like literally, she would send me like, she'd be like, why? And then we got to a point where she's like, should I just swipe? Because he's the most normal guy. I'm like, just swipe, girl. It's fine.
One of the guys, I was so close to like grabbing a drink with him. And then he was like, oh, add me on Instagram, right? And I was like, what's your Instagram? And before I even gave him mine, and I looked at his, and he had like a braid, like one long hair with a braid. And I was like, his face is so cute. And like everything else was normal. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't go out with you.
That is so funny. It's so funny. Oh, you know, it's crazy. Like guys, they're so easy to like you ask the guy to hang out and he's so down. Like, what if I was going to kill you?
Oh yeah. Guys know.
With us, we're like, I don't know. He has a braid. Or like, you know what?
A mirror pic, a mirror selfie.
I like how he said, hey babe, why are you calling me babe?
Yeah, no, that's how we are. We're like very like, you can say the wrong word and we're like, sorry. Bye. Nope, can't happen anymore.
I wish I wasn't like that, because maybe he just doesn't know how to talk to me, but it's like, I'm just so over, like, I want what I want now, you know, but it's like, am I even gonna get it?
Yes, we are.
My friend is almost 40, you guys, and she's gorgeous, beautiful, everything, and she's still single in LA.
Not that there's anything wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with her. She's hot, amazing, whatever. It's clearly the men in this world.
That's what I'm saying. It's LA.
But we are also like, it was like a reality check to us to like, okay, if we want this, we're gonna have to be a little persistent.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna find him inside my home watching TV and
exactly. That's so me. Fun. I'm like, I'm way too single to be over here binging Netflix shows every night.
We just like, I was even thinking like, when I go get takeout, maybe I should just go eat there. You know what I mean? Like look decent, eat there. Maybe I'll like converse with somebody, or they'll talk to me. I don't know. Or where do I go? Whole Foods?
You're asking the wrong person. I don't know.
Library?
That would be my dream. If I met a guy like at Trader Joe's, that would be my dream.
I love that too.
Like we reach for the same thing. Like what a dream.
Samosas. Great.
Yeah. Like, oh, are you brown? Like it would be great. It would be great. Or at a bookstore. Oh my God, a coffee shop. Oh, a dream.
You would be great at me, sports bar, because sports bar, every kind of guy goes there, not just guys to pick up girls, but guys that want to watch the game. And I'm that girl, and I love football. I love basketball, but football is my first love.
Basketball's mine.
Yeah. See? And then like, even I would prefer the same team, but even if not, like a good guy.
Yeah. Then we're getting too picky. Just sports in general.
Sports. And like at a sports bar, he sees me cheering. He comes and talks to me, buys me a beer because I like beer. And then he finds out that I like beer and he's like, oh my God, you're the girl of my dreams. I'm like, oh my God, yes, I am.
And there you go. She has the story in her head. She's going to a sports bar today. So that's going to happen.
I hope so, but it is in Hollywood. So chances
it might happen. People meet people every day.
Yeah, sport. I need a guy that likes sports.
I used to say that, but as time goes on, I'm slowly just like crossing things off my list. Like, do I really need this? Do I really need this? We're getting down to like the nitty gritty. But I think that, our guys are going to come. Sure. And they're going to be perfect.
I hope so.
Yes. You need to believe. I believe.
I do too. And I also do write people off very quickly.
Yeah, we do.
We should just like maybe give them like another chance. But I've also been with very questionable people. So I think I did my dues.
I know, right? Yeah, like I've been with some shitty guys.
Yeah, I put in my dues. Like I let a lot slide.
Same.
Yeah. So I don't know, guys. If you're single, so are we. Don't worry.
Well, congrats to Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly on getting engaged. I loved everything. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I loved everything about her caption, but then I died at the end when she was like, and then we drank each other's blood.
Yeah, because they're trolling.
There's no way. Like they're just playing into the shit. They're just like, we need to add something like outrageous.
I would do something like that if people were talking like stupid stuff about me. I would just feed into it. If I was super famous,
yeah,
I'd be like, yes,
100% they are.
Baby.
Yeah. But congrats to them. Happy for her.
I love the memes where it was like when the Foot Locker guy comes and finds her shoe
because it was striped shirt.
Yeah, I couldn't unsee it. Or Beetlejuice. It was great. Yeah, good for them. They deserve each other. They're good together. Courtney, Travis, her, him.
Just all of them.
Doesn't matter how old you are, guys. We have time.
We do have time. See, they all found love after
they got married. So we have to wait till we get married.
But we already had our shitty relationship, so hopefully it'll come. But we are super excited because Sujata is about to jump on soon.
Oh yeah, she's in the waiting room right now. So
excited to have her on.
All right, guys. See you guys next week. Enjoy.
Hi, ladies. Hi, queens.
Hi, queen. I love that you said that.
I'm Sujata Day. I'm the writer, director, producer, star of Definition Please, which is coming out on Netflix on Friday.
Super exciting.
Yes.
January 21st. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you are our Brown Queen of the Week. Thank you so much for penciling us in and coming on our show.
So we read a lot about you and we're like, wow, we love her. Everything about you speaks to us. We're super excited to have you here. Tell us about how you kind of started in the industry, because you obviously have done a little bit of everything, but how did it all begin for you? What even made you want to go into this type of work?
Well, it all began as a kid. I was in a lot of elementary school plays and musicals, and I was in dance classes. I took Bharatanatyam at the temple every Sunday, and
I love to see it.
Love to see it. And I took singing lessons, and I love to write as well. So I would be reading books in the corner at parties and also write short stories and poems. And the other side of the coin is that I was also really good at math and science. So I ended up going to Case Western for engineering and graduating with my engineering degree, but also at the same time doing plays and musicals and acting classes. And at Case Western, I took a semester of playwriting and a semester of screenwriting. So that's when it really started to evolve for me. And I got a job with Accenture post-college, and that job moved me out to LA. And little did they know that I was going to be the worst Accenture employee they've ever had, because I always tried to not get put on a project. And in the meantime, I was getting my headshots done, going to meet with agents, going on auditions, and really pushing my career forward as an actress, but also writing scripts on the side as well. And I think my writing process didn't really get specific and honed until I started doing Awkward Black Girl 10 years ago. And I watched with my own eyes what Issa Rae was doing for Black women and writing her own story. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do that for brown queens. you know?
Yes.
and
Gosh.
and so that was my goal. And then I started honing all of my scripts in terms of who I am, an Indian American who grew up in Pennsylvania, had a great childhood and wanted to focus on that. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to direct. So then I directed my first short film, Cowboy and Indian, which you can find on Vimeo. And it was really, really fun. And so after completing that, and we went through a really great festival circuit with Cowboy and Indian, I said to myself, I'm going to do a feature next. And that happened to be Definition Please.
I love that for so many reasons. First of all, I love that you did engineering
I was gonna
and
say
we're
that.
like honing in on your artistic side. I love a girl that doesn't put herself in a box. You did it all. And then also, we have to dive into like you working on Awkward Black Girl and like everything you learned from Issa Rae. How was that experience for you? Like, what would you say was like the biggest thing that you learned working with her?
I learned so much, to be honest. I saw Issa putting Awkward Black Girl on her credit cards. And a lot of people have told me, oh, you don't want to put money into your films or your projects. But I saw Issa do it, and I saw what happened with Awkward Black Girl and HBO and Insecure. So I didn't think twice about putting Definition Please on my credit cards. Like, I knew that I wanted to do that. I could see that investing in myself was going to be worth it.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing that I learned. Another thing that I learned was, just to keep putting work out there, even if it doesn't go viral or if it's not seen. After Awkward Black Girl, I made a web series called Larry and Lucy for 3 episodes, and nobody really saw it. It didn't go viral, but it got me a manager. And it also helped me to hone my voice and see what I wanted to write about. So no matter what you do, whatever you create, I always tell people to put it out there, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's not perfect, just put it out there. You don't know who's going to see it. Maybe it's not going to go viral, but something else might happen from it. And you're always going to learn from something that you create and put out into the universe. And then you just move on to the next thing without worrying about whatever's going to happen with that thing.
I like that you said that, because I feel like today's world is so obsessed with going viral. And I feel like when they don't go viral or something doesn't get the views, they get discouraged and then they stop doing what they really love. So I do love that you said that, because that's true. Anybody can see it, and it also makes you better. It's like, okay, this didn't work. Let's try something else. So
Exactly.
so you are definitely an inspiration. That's amazing.
And a lot of artists also are super like hypercritical of themselves, and they don't put anything out until it's perfect. Like, they'll work on things over and over again, but it definitely is better to just put out what you create before it's perfect and then just make it perfect.
Something that I like to point out is go back. All of the Awkward Black Girl episodes are on YouTube. So I encourage everyone to go back and watch episode 1. And you're looking at it and you're like, the production quality isn't quite the best. The sound isn't quite the best. But you know what is there is it's funny. The character's there. Issa is incredible in it. And so you see the potential of it. Now, as the episodes move forward to episode 3, episode 5, episode 7, you watch the quality go up alongside the episodes and the storytelling. And so that's what's really exciting to me, is that Awkward Black Girl didn't start out 100% perfect, but it found its way, it found its voice. And that's where I tell people who are struggling from being a perfectionist and wanting to put out that perfect thing, I'm like, no, just put out whatever you have and then keep moving on to the next thing.
Yeah. And then you get a show like Insecure, which we love.
She got me into that show, and I literally finished it in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was
Amazing.
obsessed with it because she really does capture what it's like growing up and living in LA and just like being a girl in your 20s and telling stories that aren't told.
Yeah.
And also, you've taken a non-traditional route, obviously, being in, Indian in our community and like having all this like pressure from, you know, society, like you need to do this. You actually did it all. You did it the right way. You're like my mom's dream. Like you were an engineer and you went and like, you know, followed your dreams on top of that. So my mom would be like, see, you know, Sujata did it. Why can't you do it? You know?
Now your mom's going to be like, see, you can be a doctor and an actress at the same time.
Yeah, you can do both. You can balance it.
Look at perfect example. I'm like, no, she's a superhero. No. But how were your family? Because I did read somewhere that you said they were actually very supportive. So tell me about that.
They're very supportive. I think society and the people that I was hanging out with, especially in Pennsylvania, there's a huge Indian American community there. So on the weekends, I was hanging out with my Indian friends at the temple and going to birthday parties and stuff. And they were all very focused on being a doctor and being an engineer. And I was like, oh, I never really felt the pressure from my parents. I feel like I felt it from my peers. Yeah. And then I did a governor's school for healthcare in 10th grade, where you go to University of Pittsburgh for 6 weeks and you are immersed in healthcare. And I came back from that and I told my parents, I was like, well, not going to be a doctor. Yeah. That's crossing that off. Yeah. And then I was like, hey, I'm like good at math. I might as well just be an engineer. You know, I was thinking of what's a stable career, you know? So that I went on, but what was really cool is I was doing these musicals in high school and my parents would come every single night, six performances, bouquet of flowers, taking pictures, really excited for me. So I could see that they were like, oh, they're like into this. That's cool. And so I was just like, I'll try to, you know, juggle it all. And that's when I knew that, okay, the path for me was to get an engineering job and make sure that I wasn't mooching off my parents after college. And so the Accenture moved me out to LA, and then I got to really plan it out and do it my way while also earning this like amazing salary at the same time. So, and now my parents are just like super excited. I mean, they loved Cowboy and Indian, the short film. And when I told them that I was gonna put a lot of my money into Definition Please, my dad was like, great, finally, you're doing a feature. Gosh, it's about time. So it was really sweet. And we shot Definition Please in their house. They allowed us to take it over, and they had a lot of fun during the shoot too. My dad would go around taking pictures of everyone, and my mom cooked, and
oh my God, that's so awesome.
And she also plays a small part in the film as well.
That's amazing. My mom would go to like my plays and be like, this is for fun. Just remember that.
Yeah,
okay?
I was a drama nerd in high school too, by the way. We won competitions. Yeah. I had a little bit of it in me.
It's like, have fun. Like they would come, but it's like, this is on the side, school, you know? So that's amazing though. That means they really believed, you know, in your journey and your dream. And I feel like, because I was reading about your movie, you do capture the stress and like the weight that us as like first generation kids, you know, have on our shoulders, because we want to do what we want to do, but we also feel like if we don't, we're going to be a disappointment because they made all these sacrifices, you know? Did you get that from like did you feel that from your friends? Is that something you took from?
Or like just a society that you were a part of?
Mm-hmm. I feel like that was part of society. And I recognized it. I was like, oh, my parents, you know, sacrificed a lot to come over to Pennsylvania. But they really assimilated well to Pennsylvania. And my mom is the life of every party and has so many friends. And I think on the inside, I will say that my parents are artists. So my dad loves to paint and write and read. And my mom secretly wants to be famous, I think. So she was very excited to have that cameo in my film. And I think it goes back to me being Bengali as well, because we are we're kind of the culture snobs of India, and
Yeah, for sure.
we talk about Rabindranath Tagore so much and Satyajit Ray, and I'm inspired by all of these amazing creative Bengalis that have come before us, and it is somehow in my blood to tell stories and put them out there. So it's part of our Bengaliness as well. I think that attracts us to the arts.
Well, I have a question outside of like the Indian side of it, even being, first of all, there's like barely any female writers in the TV industry in general, but like then to be a woman of color, like in writers' rooms and directing. And did you ever feel like that was a thing? Like not being, I guess, like a white male in like the TV entertainment industry?
So in general, I can't really speak on writers' rooms because I've never been in a writer's room. So everything that I write, I generally write on my own or with a writing partner. And then I always have plans to either produce it myself or put it out there or pitch it to different places. So, I mean, to be honest, I would love to be in a writer's room. That would be really fun. But I think at the end of the day in Hollywood, things are changing, and they are recognizing, the powers that be are recognizing the importance of having authentic voices in the room. So, for example, if you have a sitcom and there happens to be an Indian American character on that sitcom, you're going to need to have an Indian American in that writer's room so that that particular character is not a stereotype and that it's fully fleshed out. So, in general, the message is out there. Change is happening. It's happening slowly.
Very slowly. But it's funny though, because it's like, what I like to say is like, oh my God, like we're in fashion now. Like, how before they would like put one Black person in a movie just to be like, look, we're, diverse, and now then there was like one Indian person, and now it's nice to see like, oh my gosh, there's two Indian people. Oh no, this show is about an Indian person. Oh, look at this. So it's definitely happening, but it's definitely taking time, but we do see it for sure.
Representation is happening.
Yes, it is. They see us.
They see us. They see us.
We always talk about dating on our show. So on a side note, aside from the work stuff, are you single or in a relationship?
I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, can you describe LA dating in one word?
LA dating is tough because it's so big. Like, you guys are in Long Beach, right? I'm in Studio City, and like I could never date someone who lived in Long Beach because it feels like
a long distance
relationship.
Like,
so I think I feel like in terms of like New York versus LA, New York, you're just like in this tiny
get on a subway and go.
And go. But in LA, it's like, oh, he lives in Santa Monica. Like that's not gonna happen.
That's true. Even friendships, like sometimes I love my friends, but they live like all the way in like North Hollywood, and I'm like, oh man, like I'll see you someday. I understand that. How about you juggling? You don't have to talk about specifically, but in general, like, I feel like you don't have a lot of time. You're always working. You always have so much going on. Is it hard for you to juggle a relationship?
So I am a big believer in making time for myself or personal time. Even during the pandemic, when I was writing and working, I made sure that I took my neighborhood walk at sunset, around up into the hills. And I would do that for an hour just to clear my brain and make sure that I get rest. Something that my mom has always told me when I'm on the phone with her, or if she's texting me, she's always like, take time to rest. Make sure you're resting. And so I do that. Like even when I was shooting Definition Please, we had a 2-week shoot. And so it was quite hectic, but very organized. And sometimes the cast and the crew would go out after a day of shooting and go, have drinks at Applebee's. And I'd be like, I can't do it because I have to call this investor and make sure his money is going to hit the bank account so that we actually have money to shoot for the next couple of days. Or I had to look over the scenes for the next day. So I would just make sure to get my 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night, even during the shoot. So I'm very much, I have a good balance between my personal life and my work life. And I think that's important because your work life only benefits from you taking that time off for yourself.
Absolutely. So let's jump into definition, please.
Yeah, award-winning director, writer now. Okay, so let's shout out to you.
Tell us how the creation of this film started. Like when did you start working on it? And just how did it come to be? Or the process of getting it on Netflix even?
Yeah, it's a whole long journey. So it started in 4th grade when I won my 4th grade spelling bee, which is not that big of a deal when you think that there were only 8 people in my Catholic school class. And then,
oh my gosh, that's so small.
It was tiny. I remember like everyone's name in that class too. I'm still friends with people from
that's awesome.
Elementary school. So then I went on to regionals. I lost in the first round on the word radish. I spelled it with 2 D's instead of 1, and it devastated me. And
wow, in my head right now, thinking of the word, I was thinking of it with 2 D's. So
yeah. Thank you for that. And then fast forward to 2015, I was in a comedy sketch writing class, and one of my sketches was called "Where Are They Now? Spelling Bee Winners." And if you look them up, if you Google them, they're all doing really great things. They're working at NASA. They're probably working on COVID vaccinations and treatments, and they're winning poker championships. So the button of my sketch was that this one young woman had grown up to not achieve anything at all. She was living in her parents' basement. She was just kind of hanging out, smoking weed, not doing much. And that became the premise, that 4-page sketch became the premise for Definition, Please. And I was inspired by my first trip to Sundance Film Festival in 2017. I had just done the Sundance Screenwriting Lab, and my friend Justin Chan's movie Gook was playing there. And I was blown away by his film. And then I cornered him at the party, and I asked him how he got it made. And he said, I just raise money for my friends and family. And I was like, cool, that's what I'm going to do. So in 2017, 2018, I wrote the script, made it better, got notes, and then had a shooting version of the script, pitched it out to a couple of places. They love the script, but we're like, oh, that's not what we're doing right now. We're doing superhero movies. And so in 2019, went back to Sundance. Justin's next film, Ms. Purple, was playing there. And once I saw that happen, I was like, Justin has made 2 films, or a couple films actually, and I haven't done anything. What am I doing with my time? So that was really the push for me to say, okay, I'm going to shoot Definition, Please, summer of 2019, even if I have $1 in my pocket. And serendipitously, I got an email saying that one of my shows that I had sold was coming back to me along with a huge check. And so I was the first money into my movie. I was first investor into my film. And that's when I started talking about raising money to every single person that I would meet, that I would have coffee with, that I would have lunch with, and say, hey, if you or anyone want to put money into my movie, that would be awesome. And then I raised the rest of the money. I got my cast and crew together. We shot it June of 2019. We had amazing post-production. I got to do sound at Skywalker Ranch in San Francisco, and sat in George Lucas's seat while watching
so awesome
the final sound design of my film. And I was like, remember this moment. It was incredible. And then we got to do post-production at a really big company called Company 3. And then we were done with the film in early 2020. And we were going to premiere at the LA Asian Pacific Film Festival in late March at the DGA Theater in Hollywood. And then something called COVID happened. And so we had to pivot. So we did virtual film festivals for a year and a half, and it was honestly the best decision we made. There were a lot of other films at the time that were weary of doing the virtual film festival circuit. And honestly, I was a little bummed because part of having a film at festivals is going to the festival and watching it with an audience in a theater. Like we got into the Hawaii International Film Festival. I had never been to Hawaii. I could have gotten to go to Hawaii. Like that would have been dope. So that was the only bummer, but like we got so much great press and good reviews out of it. It was a really fun journey. And another thing that happened is we picked up fans of the film along the way. I was getting DMs and emails and messages from young brown girls, young brown queens who just were so excited to see themselves finally represented on screen. And it was really beautiful to get those messages. And I was like, okay, this is why I did it. You know, I want to inspire the next generation to tell their stories and to not be afraid to put their work out there.
100%. Well, we're super excited to see it. Yeah. That's why we said it resonated with us so much, like even the story of the movie.
We talk about all of it all the time, like the weight on our shoulders, about, you know, like striving to be perfect, like the perfect child, and, you know, the stress of it. So you definitely capture that in this. So I can see why all the brown queens and the brown kings want to watch this. But when on your journey, I'm sure like you heard a lot of no's, right? How did you overcome that? And, or for somebody else who's like you, who has a story or wants to do something and keeps hearing no?
Yeah. I mean, as an actress, I heard so many no's. I mean, it was just no after. You get rejected like 10 times a week when you're an actress. And so I think that built me up for the no's that we got for Definition Please, for even Cowboy and Indian. And it is something that you have to steel yourself towards. And it always hurts. You get that email, you get the call. And you know what? You gotta process that pain. So I take the time to let it sink in, and I'm like, I didn't get into that very prestigious film festival. What a bummer, you know? But then you have to, after a day, you know, I usually give myself a day to like process the pain. And I'm like, okay, so now what do we do? So what film festival can we get into? You know, so it's all about kind of taking that no and just recognizing that a lot of people say this, but you only need one yes. And it's true. So true. It's so true. And that yes could be that absolutely perfect conglomeration of things to happen. I don't even think I use that word in the correct way.
It's okay.
But for example, we just got a lot of no's along the way with Definition Please, but we kept moving forward and we kept saying, okay, well, we have this film festival coming out. Oh, we just got another award. And then we got a call from Array, Ava DuVernay's company, out of the blue saying, hey, we love your film. We want to distribute it. It'll be on Netflix. And I was like, okay, this is what we've been waiting for. It's the perfect home. And so just really excited. I do believe that I'm very zen about stuff, because you asked me how I process the no's. I take those no's and I'm like, okay, then that wasn't the thing. That wasn't the thing that was supposed to happen. And it's coming, you know, I've put in the hard work. So somehow, some way, this movie will get out there, even if it was going to be us putting it out there on our own, us putting it on iTunes and selling it and renting it out for $5 a pop. So it was always going to get out there. We just didn't know how.
I love that. I'm super spiritual, so I definitely believe in that too, that if it doesn't open, it's not your door type situation. But you're very persistent and strong. We love to see it. I'm so happy that this film is on Netflix.
January 21st, you guys. Definition Please. Make sure you watch this film, support it, share it, and support our brown queens throughout the day. Thank you so much for
we love you. We are huge fans. We hope everybody listening is now a fan and is going to check out the film. Is there anything else you want to share with them? where can they find you on social?
I mean, Definition Please is on socials, and so am I. So at Definition Please on Twitter, we're at DEFN Please. On Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, I'm at Sujata Day, and I've been posting nonstop about the film, so you
We
can
will
find out.
post it too. We're gonna make
Definitely.
sure everybody watches it.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you for being you, and thank you for coming by.
Yeah, thank you for all you do for our community too, for putting this story out there.
Thank you so much. I just hope it inspires other people to do the same.